Hi, this is Don Keda with another Israel report. And this morning I want to report to you about the latest terror attack that happened early this morning, Friday morning, July 14th, up on the Temple Mount. So stay tuned. So this morning, 3 gunmen leaving the Temple Mount, armed with weapons, were headed towards the Lion's Gate, spotted the policemen, and then engaged with them in a gun battle in which the policemen then chased after the gunmen who ran back onto the Temple Mount, and that's where they ended up having the gun battle that ended up taking out 2 of our Israeli policemen. Unfortunately, they were both murdered up on the Temple Mount after a gun battle with the terrorists, and all 3 of the terrorists were eliminated. Now, there's a few things I want to address here this morning concerning this attack early this morning up on the Temple Mount. Number 1 is the issue of how we engage with the threats. See, according to our laws, you cannot engage with a threat unless they are armed, unless they have the ability to carry out their attack and an intent. So unless those 3 things are there, and you cannot engage with a terrorist threat. So in other words, for example, if a terrorist is sitting in a wheelchair wielding a knife, you can't shoot at him. You can't engage with him. You see, that's the reality. So unfortunately, what that does to both the police forces and the military, it suppresses our immediate aggressive action towards the threat. And so in doing so, we have allowed ourselves the opportunity for the terrorists to end up taking out our policemen and our military. So classic example was about a year ago, Elor Azaria, who is an Israeli soldier who eliminated a terrorist in Hebron, who was laying there, as far as they could tell, was no longer a threat. But he noticed that he was moving and twitching, and that the paramedics that came to the scene were concerned and were voicing their concerns. Is he a threat? Does he have a bomb on him? They don't know. And so he decided to eliminate the threat, and now has been sitting in prison and has been going through a long drawn court decisions on did he act right, did he not. And so what that has done is it is cause for our military to be terrified to engage in a threat. You just feel like no matter what I do, some judge, some lawyer, somewhere is going to get me in jail, and I'm not interested, right? And so that's the reality that we're put up against. And so that's what happened this morning, for example. The terrorists, if you see in the footage here, in the security footage, you see him go down, right? And so everybody saw their fire, and then he gets back up again and keeps on carrying out his attack. See, in my opinion, what needs to change as far as our policy towards the threat of a terrorist is that every terrorist should know that if he's going to carry out a terrorist act, that he is going to be killed in the process, period. There is no coming back from carrying out a terrorist attack. You don't get to sit in an Israeli prison after you've been wounded and been patched up in our hospitals and given a salary to sit in an Israeli prison. I mean, they get paid tens of thousands of dollars just to sit in prison from different organizations, the PA, Israel, and other European organizations that basically nurture this reality of making a hero out of a criminal. And this needs to be put an end to. Our security forces should have the freedom to be able to eliminate any threat no matter what. The second issue is the freedom of Muslims up on the Temple Mount. They have free access to the Temple Mount, 9 entry points, whereas there's only 1 entry point to visitors and Jews from around the world. And what happens is, it creates a reality where the Muslims have a free reign up on the Temple Mount. They don't go through any security checkpoints to enter up on the Temple Mount where everyone else does. What does that do? It gives terrorists a free reign up on the Temple Mount and the ability to carry out future attacks like this up on the Temple Mount. So I pray and I hope that our government is going to take extreme action against this reality and realize we have done enough. We have allowed the Muslims to have too much free reign up on the Temple Mount. It's the holiest place on earth to the Jewish people. It's not to the Muslims. So with all due respect, enough is enough. We have given them too much. So I hope this policy changes and that the Israeli government will exercise freedom of worship for Jews up on the Temple Mount, and they will also exercise Jewish sovereignty once and for all and end the madness. Finally, if you want to take an action in this reality, go to cryforzion.com, look for our petition, sign the petition on change.org, and let's stand together to make a true change here in the nation of Israel concerning this reality of the Temple Mount. So this is Don Kedal reporting to you from Jerusalem. Thank you for listening, and shalom.